Warning. What I'm about to say is forbidden beyond any rabbit hole you've ever seen. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and I'm a world-renowned lunatic. I am a person who spent my entire childhood watching Pixar's movies, over and over again, hundreds of times, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I can easily recite them all, of course. They're the best animation company, loved by everyone. So as I got older, I developed a bit of an obsession with Pixar theories. Simply put, I started asking myself what the characters were really thinking, what their backstories really were, how they could connect to other movies. Everyone on the internet was doing it, finding secrets, imagining one timeline for all the movies. But as the years went on, people stopped talking because the filmmakers openly called us crazy. But I'm a world-renowned lunatic. I had a mission so extreme and so over the top that it ate the next 10 years of my life. A mission to thread every single movie into a single entity stitched from Pixar's source code. What I mean is the story that they told unintentionally. The Pixar movie about Pixar itself. Today is the result of 30 videos filled with proof, the story start to finish, as I definitively expose, once and for all, the horrifying spider that puppets franchises between the lines. Every movie by Pixar features a company called BNL, by and large. We've known this for a very long time. They make the batteries, they make the toys, they make the cars, they make the food, they're run by machines, and they get so powerful that they end up ruining the entire planet in WALL-E. BNL is supposed to represent Walmart, Costco, companies in general. This was obvious to everyone until recently I realized that BNL actually represents Disney. Like Disney, they own Pixar, and the little details and toys and comics you see in all their movies are supposed to be merchandise, toys from other movies that the characters watched. It's like the characters watch Disney movies just like we do, but I guess not their own movies. This simple realization tells a story that is so amazing that Pixar's starting to make movies about it. This is the complete untold story of Pixar's only villain, BNL. If all of Pixar's movies are about the same company, then where would this begin? Who are they? What's the story of this company? Well, the earliest we find BNL is in the 1940s, and there can literally be only one starting point. It's The Incredibles. Humans have mysteriously started getting superpowers, and so the US government creates the National Supers Agency. When World War II begins, the agency tries to make more superheroes to fight for them. They team up with scientists like Edna Mode, and they try using superhero DNA to make more of them. But it backfires and just makes super villains. Edna's devastated. She leaves them behind. So the NSA starts looking for a new helper. They find a boy, a very smart boy, who used to be a fan of superheroes. His name was Buddy Pine. Buddy was constantly brushed aside by superheroes, and he got more and more disappointed. As he got older, he started to hate them. If he couldn't be a superhero, then he would destroy all of them. He was smart enough to create powerful machines and computers for the government, and he could destroy supervillains. The agency recognized his talent and gave him money to create more robots.
And they will pay through the nose to get it. How do you think I got rich? I invented weapons.
But it was too late. He was bitter, and he was killing heroes as well. The government was scared, and they let it happen. Slowly, he became more and more evil, calling himself Syndrome. And upon his death, his AI escaped containment and took over the NSA, converting it into the horrifying organization we know as, by and large, BNL, a government company run entirely by an evil AI. This is what we see. This is in the movies, and this is just the most likely origin from everything that we've seen. And so it begins. The machines have one goal: turn on the world that made them. They were built this way, And we know what their first priority was: humans. It's made clear in WALL-E that BNL ends up destroying Earth and escaping into outer space. And this is what happened. This is the fate of all your favorite Pixar characters. But how could a single company do all this? Lock in. First, they gain access to all of the NSA's things: superhuman mutation, technology, government access, you know. Then, they take the media: television, internet, radio. This is because the telecommunications company in Incredibles 2 was also owned by the NSA.
I checked him out. He's legit, trained under Dicker.
This is what the screen slaver is warning everyone about.
You don't talk, you watch talk shows. You don't play games, you watch game shows.
Next, BNL goes after the economy. They use government money to buy out every other company in the world and sell things under their own name: batteries, toys, cars, robots, and entertainment. This is a big one. They make movies and TV shows that push their messages into the world.
You eat chips and watch her confront problems that you are too lazy to deal with.
Andy's Buzz Lightyear toy, for example, is merchandise from his favorite movie, a movie all about their plans.
You can remain ever sheltered, ever passive, ever ravenous consumers.
BNL controls everything in these films, even the food supply. We see it time and time and time again.
Can't bring themselves to rise from their couches, break a sweat.
And so if you assume that all Pixar films take place in the same world, then when you see money and technology, you see BNL. It's the source code of Pixar, the one message through every single film they've made. The main character, the villain. BNL is running all of it coming into the 2000s.
Or you tell yourself you're being looked after, so that the system can keep stealing from you, smiling at you all the while.
So BNL sets up their headquarters in what they call the Tri-County area of California. A lot of their films take place here, a lot of characters move here. It's Pixar's headquarters too, and California is known for technology. BNL makes their media and entertainment from here, and we see what sorts of addictive and dangerous things they're putting on TV. For example, a recurring joke in Inside Out is about an advertisement for Triple Dent Gum. Sound familiar? This Trident parody brings people closer to BNL, but the real issue is how addicting it is. Their commercial is so catchy that it sticks in the brain and won't leave. Normally this would just be a catchy song that you can't stop humming, but there's more like this. There's a pattern. See, Riley's mom in Inside Out also has a catchy sort of memory, but hers is of a Brazilian helicopter pilot asking her to fly with him. And weirdly, Riley's teacher also has the exact same memory. Back in 2020, I thought this guy must have been maybe a con artist, like he's using the same line over and over to steal women, but everyone told me, no. What if he's just from a famous commercial? They all watched the same advertisement, and they genuinely believe it. It's addictive, obsessive like the gum, because this is what BNL is doing at the turn of the century. They don't just want to control the economy, they want to control the people. BNL is trying to hypnotize, entrance, to take over the minds, the loves, the hates, the brains of everyone in the world. Their commercials take precious space from other memories, and slowly but surely, they become everything to the humans. But I still didn't fully believe it, until I watched Incredibles 2 again and realized what the whole plot was. It's the whole point. Hypnotic television. The NSA, the telecommunications company, it's all clear as day. And it's not just in one or two movies, it's in all of them. Their 2020 movie, Soul, is all about human souls and how they operate and how people are getting so obsessed that they become dead inside. Look at how people are in WALL-E. Inside Out, Monsters Inc., Toy Story. It's like Pixar's put this into all their films without even realizing it's the same pattern. They're just mocking what they see in the real world, and it's disturbingly similar. But I wouldn't be making this today if all I had was hypnotic commercials, because hypnosis isn't their end goal. It's just where they started. They're after something much darker, much more terrifying. See, Pixar's put a lot of effort to explain how their world works. The elements make up the physical world. The souls make up the spiritual world, like afterlife. The overlap of these two are like emotions inside brains. It's all very well laid out. I once made a theory about how Riley's brain was trying to kill Joy. Well, technically, it was her soul doing it. The stuff that holds all this together is the soul. It's separate from the emotions. It's everything. And the reason this is so important is because By and Large discovered this, and it's what they're after. Look at all the robots, the cars, the toys, Wall-E. They're so lifelike. They don't act like robots. They act like people. It's all backwards. The people are becoming empty inside, and the robots are getting, I guess, more lifelike. This is their goal. By and Large is trying to switch places. They want everyone to become their robots. They're gaining more souls through human emotions and then powering their machines with it. This is why their toys act so human. It's why their robots are also emotional. They're all technically alive. But there's one type that's the strongest. The emotions of children. Kids have incredible imaginations. Look at Inside Out, look at Toy Story. All of BNL's products spur emotions. They take imagination, and then they store lives. Monsters Incorporated knows about this. It's why they scare kids, make them laugh, so on. They're powering their world with souls by creating emotions. That's literally the movie. Children's creativity is the most important power for BNL, as it brings things to life with the power of belief. And so BNL makes all of their movies, all of their toys, all their food for children, ripping through the soul of humanity and mapping brains so they can replace us one at a time. Still don't believe the soul stuff? Then why do the wishing wisps in Brave look identical to the souls of babies? This shocked even me when my top fan noticed it because it's so clear. Souls are wishes, imagination, it's all the same thing being used. So of course this is all just the story of the movies, but Pixar seems to realize what they've written here because with every passing year, their films get more and more focused on this stuff. As I'm editing this, they drop a trailer for, I shit you not, an upcoming movie about the government transplanting human brains into robots. Have you any idea how specific this is? This is shocking. These were always the types of films they made, but recently it's like they've become aware of the theories, like they're using them. Their films only got more and more focused on the same pattern, and BNL's story becomes more and more detailed. As the machines consume into the 2000s, it's becoming worse than ever, and it's being allowed to happen. Will they succeed? Well, something massive is about to stand in their way. Crash Course. The world of Pixar has something in it that changes everything. One big difference, one single event that led to superheroes, talking animals, weird timelines, and BNL itself. The event in question occurred 65 million years ago. The asteroid missed the dinosaurs. You ever see that movie, The Good Dinosaur? It's further back than anything. The plot is that dinosaurs never went extinct because the asteroid missed Earth. So I guess they became a lot smarter. They evolved faster than humans did. This is what the movie's about. And this one change makes BNL's mission harder than you think, because this isn't just some battle between humans and robots. It's everything. The animals can talk too. They weren't slowed down by evolution. They had more time. Just look at their upcoming movie. They're here to stay, but it gets 10 times worse. Hold on to your hats, because Pixar has not 2, not 3, but 4 different groups in their films. Humans, robots, animals, and a secret 4th category. It's not monsters, and you'll see why. It's something very interesting. At this point, BNL has humanity in the palm of their hands, but they seem to have encountered a roadblock. They were taking over the world, but there's more that's happening behind the scenes. There's something out there that's stopping them from moving forward with their plans. Kids aren't acting correctly, there's weird activity, and they need to understand it before moving forward. To look ahead, first, they have to look back. All they knew was that this weird behavior had something to do with the mutation that started creating superheroes back in the day. It had actually started many generations earlier, and of course, they found detailed information from the NSA's experiments. Apparently, the Supers Agency had traced the mutation all across South America. They sent agents to all these locations to study the possible causes of the superhero DNA. The NSA set up this massive base near Easter Island, and clearly they found something very strange in the 1930s because they gave it to the superheroes and ran. Yes, this is the same island where Syndrome later created the AI that we know today. But there are many landmarks they studied around South America, and the evidence suggests one major target, a hidden location known as Paradise Falls. This is where most of Pixar's movie Up takes place. It's a beautiful, mysterious valley in Venezuela, and well, I think I found something in Up, and I think the NSA might have found it too, the cause of the superhero mutation. So here's what I think happened. The NSA had sent their top agent, Charles Muntz, down to Venezuela to find answers. He didn't find it, but he did find very smart animals, and his dogs got smarter too. The NSA was not pleased. He gave them all his animal research, but they were disappointed in him. So he vowed to find the thing responsible and only come home once he had it. Now we're talking. They gave him supplies, medicine to last a lifetime, more dogs, more technology, a blimp, and that was the last they ever heard of him. This was the end of their search. Until now. BNL knows what it has to do, because that thing is holding them back. They need to find it and learn the truth of this fourth category. BNL needs to find Charles Muntz as soon as possible. He's the only one that can explain why their plans keep failing. But Charles has been clever. He's put himself in isolation, hiding his location and killing all of the agents that come searching. So they try a new tactic. Using their helicopter advertisements, they try persuading random civilians down into the area instead. They're not very suspicious, he must let them in. But these people weren't nearly good enough at exploring. They all fail and die. They need a real explorer, but one without a past. This brings us to the main events of Up. BNL zooms in on a quiet elderly man who can get the job done, a lifelong fan of Charles Muntz who never got his own chance to adventure. BNL kills his wife and buys out his whole neighborhood. They try causing as much misery as possible. They keep trying to get him to venture out and explore. They even send in their supervisor's kid, an adorable Boy Scout. They try threatening the man openly, boxing him into a corner and forcing him to find Muntz. And incredibly enough, the man uproots his entire house into the air and sails down to South America, searching for his childhood icon. BNL was ready. They stuck the kid under his porch and equipped him with a tracking device to spy on them. The old man and his Boy Scout head south, directly into a storm, and the tracking device navigates them down through the Bermuda Triangle. Once they get through, it sends them directly to Charles Muntz, just as planned, hidden in Venezuela for 70 years. And the result is chaos. Muntz had completely lost his mind to obsession and is promptly killed and replaced by his own fans who shelter the entity, commandeer his blimp, steal his army of dogs, and fly back to the States with everything. Literally, this is just the whole plot of Up, by the way. I'm just describing what's really going on. And when they return, BNL acts fast. They steal everything, study everything, and come to 3 absolutely jaw-dropping conclusions. 1. Animals have become unbelievably intelligent as humans have been degrading, and they won't go without a fight. 2. What the GPS found in the Bermuda Triangle was far more important than anything Charles Muntz had done in his decades of work. And 3. That entity is from a group that caused these mutations, and it is not from this world. This all lines up perfectly with what BNL had been seeing. Strange activity, unusual roadblocks, children not responding as they should. They know what's happening, and now so do I. Here's why. The Monsters, Inc. DVD comes with a bonus disc. There is a deleted scene hiding on this disc. It is narrated by the NSA's lawyer and explains what they all found. Apparently that mutation had occurred a very long time ago, thousands of years ago, and it created monsters. This short film, called The Mans and the Mons, explains that the monsters from Monsters, Inc. were actually ugly humans who got bullied and chased away. They took refuge on a mysterious tropical island. They ate forbidden fruits and embraced their ugliness, using it to scare humans instead. This mutation got worse and worse, and now they don't look anything like each other, but their society is thriving in a distant world, Monstropolis. Don't you see? The NSA had been searching for the cause of the mutation and the mutants. The cause was the entities, and the mutants are monsters, which weren't in Venezuela or Easter Island or Machu Picchu or any normal location, but in a whole different world that could only be accessed, lo and behold, through the Bermuda Triangle. This is the island that the Mons fled to thousands of years ago, a hidden world through a gateway in the Atlantic Ocean. And the GPS had caught this data. And Muntz was obsessed with getting Kevin because Kevin was not a bird.
The monster of Paradise Falls!
It is a monstrous half-breed roaming the ancient ruins of a testing zone once run by the mysterious fourth entities, BNL's worst nightmare. Aliens. Onward, Lifted, Lightyear, Elio. These are all aliens from other planets or through portals and universes, and now BNL knows about all of them. Okay, that was a lot. But to bring this chapter full circle, I'll leave you with this. The famous asteroid, the one that missed the dinosaurs that caused this whole dilemma, was supposed to land right smack in the middle of all this chaos. Chicxulub. I believe this asteroid was thrown at the planet by the aliens intended to kill the dinosaurs and spread the mutation in the fruit. I believe the plan was to generate monsters around Central America and control the population. But the collision failed, forcing aliens to set up the portals on the planet and do it all themselves later on. The aliens were trying to test on our world, but they've left behind too many traces to count. And if you think that is crazy, get ready, because BNL's response to this discovery is 10 times more insane. BNL has found everything, and they're very mad to discover that monsters are stealing their energy. They start off from a safe distance. First, they start airing extremely violent TV shows, making the kids harder to scare, and the monsters go through an energy crisis. So the monsters decide to change to laugh power, becoming the kids' imaginary friends instead, which works twice as well, given the power of imagination. And I mean, look at Riley's imaginary friend. That's a monster. But none of that was enough. They have to get invasive. They need to start taking down monsters one by one. And they fully have the means to do so. Full knowledge of their history, their portals, and the element of surprise. Their final move, their explosive finale, is so insane, so incredible, and so cinematic that it defies anything I've seen in my entire life as a human being. In a vindictive, poetic twist of fate, BNL aims to turn the animals against monsters, while they take the humans and run. They aim to crush every scheme of the aliens that did this, every plan for evolution, every manipulation, all so they can consume humanity in isolation and power up to kill the aliens too. Full disclosure again, this entire saga is the culmination of every last detail, every last plot hole, and every last connection from all of these movies. You see it, because if you do try to connect them, this is basically it. The proof is relentless. I can only show so much, because most of it's from my 30 previous videos. You can squabble about specifics. I'm just grabbing every single last detail that exists, and this seems to be the result. We're assuming that the films take place in the same world and just asking what that looks like on the closest possible level. Does Pixar intend all this? I can't speak for specifics, but the overall idea is very consistent on a thematic level. And yes, it's increasingly, I believe, intentional. So BNL's grand plan is a freakish scenario where they turn the aliens' test subjects against each other, consume the humans in secret, then kill the aliens while they're distracted. How are they going to do this? Well, they start with the weaker group, the animals, of course. It's in all the films. Nemo, Up, Bugs Life, Brave, smart animals. When they found Charles Muntz's intelligent dogs years ago, they had immediately put up testing facilities all around the world. In France, they were breeding mutated rats to take over the food industry. And look at that new movie coming up, see what I mean? But closest to their headquarters in the Triple Dent County is their most important station of all, the Marine Life Institute. This place is amazing. It's in Finding Dory. It's the aquarium where she was born. BNL hires characters from other movies at this place, like the dentist from Finding Nemo and his brother. They send characters like Riley on tours of the building, but this place was a little more drastic than just studying animals. Oh no. They built this place with a single goal in mind: create the ultimate animal weapon. See, the animals are important to BNL, particularly in the late 2000s, and this is the most crucial location we have. So what I'm about to say is the most fitting thing ever. I believe that Dory was no accident. She's a highly skilled evolved fish that somehow always knows exactly where to go and what to do, but all at the cost of her short-term memory. By design, this fish is like a freaking god, intelligent beyond words, but they nerfed her brain. To get what she wants, she just asks, "What would Dory do?"
What do I do? What would Dory do?
And boom, her parents are back from the freaking dead.
I'm
Dory! Oh, my baby!
But she can't remember anything she does. The more you think about this, the more it explains almost everything about Dory. But they didn't just stop there. This isn't just about Dory. If you look outside the Institute, you can also see dumb robot birds flying around spying on everything. The whole place is BNL's death machine, and this changes everything about the movies, because everything connected to this Institute must also be important to BNL. And we know the Institute sent their marine biologists and Dory out to Nemo's drop-off, which means it must have been important to them too. I want to be clear, just for a minute. A worker from the Marine Life Institute in California and a fish that escaped from there both appear just meters away from each other at the same reef off the coast of Australia at the same time. This means that BNL must care about this area, and I know exactly why that is. Look at Finding Nemo's credits. This very drop-off appears to be a vacation destination for monsters. The movie is titled Finding Nemo, named after the fictional submarine explorer Captain Nemo, who looked for a mysterious island that many connect with the Bermuda Triangle. So here's what I think might have happened. Years ago, when they were looking for answers, BNL went here with an old wartime submarine to study the strange phenomena, but they couldn't find anything. They stayed nearby just in case and studied the intelligent fish. Upon discovering whole societies among the fish, BNL took precaution and created vicious creatures to contain the area as a whole, to keep it in check. Barracuda, anglerfish, and this might be why Bruce has no father.
There is a father. I never knew my father. Come here.
He was bred in a submarine laboratory. Ultimately, BNL's submarine was too old and was destroyed. This is all why they sent the Sherman brothers and Dory later on. They're there to check up on it all. It ties everything together. More importantly though, following these movies, we know that P. Sherman quits his dentist job and moves to California, joining his brother at the Institute after learning that his fish had conspired against him.
All the animals are gone mad!
And according to the directors, someone ultimately returns to the reef years later, murders the very same barracuda, stuffs it, and gives it to none other than the Tri-County Antique Shop. This is not speculation. That is confirmed fact. How in the f*** do you blame me now? And the reason that this is all important is because after Up, BNL knows everything. They know the truth. They know about monsters, aliens, and they're ready to turn the animals into real weapons of mass destruction. A real weapon. Not Dory, something new. Something that can infiltrate the monsters and destroy them. A mindless, savage entity. Like their predators, but worse. I think at this point in Finding Nemo, BNL was already prepared. I believe the agent's mission was more than just checking up on the reef. BNL doesn't fail. Strap yourself down. What I'm about to say is simply the cleanest possible thing that fits in the context of everything else. Full disclosure, I cannot possibly imagine that Pixar has knowingly caught this implication. Brace for absolute f***ing impact. I think their agents left something there. Something to fulfill the mission and wait for the next monster vacation. Something that watches, waiting to strike. This, it jumps ship, follows the characters around, gets as close as possible to Bruce, perhaps a suitable host? No, a better idea. Perching itself just above Marlin's view as the catalyst for his journey, it snaps on the luck goddess, triggering Bruce's programmed kill mode, deterring the BNL submarine towards the trench, ushering Marlin and Dory down after it. There, we find an apex predator BNL's designed, the final prototype. It just needs this kick they've sent down. The thing, disguised as a mask, has been tasked with reaching final form and ensnares the mutant anglerfish. Once the credits roll and Mike swims past, the mask flips back into its true form and consumes the anglerfish in a single gulp, powering into a new entity that traces Mike back to the portal lying in wait just outside the gateway for the day of invasion. The body snatcher itself, Baby Smitty, a toothy, vicious apex predator weapon with angler teeth devised by BNL to mimic baby monsters, infiltrate their world, and replace everyone from the inside. If you know who this character is from my old theories, then this is the craziest reveal ever. If you don't, just know that this thing from Monsters Inc. has one of the deepest rabbit holes in the entire history of Pixar. And basically it's what I said it is, a fake monster that kills others. It's a whole thing. But what's crazy is that this is the only way to connect all of the facts. It's insane. It's unhinged. It's the story that sits here. But beyond all else, it's incredibly epic. And while I'm just recording this, I thought about how crazy all this sounded with ocean-born monster hybrids, but then I thought, wait a minute. Didn't Pixar release a whole movie about sea monsters just a couple years ago? What kind of... So with their plan for the animals having reared something much more insidious than previously expected, BNL watches intently as their best-laid plans come to pass. And at this point in the timeline, the entirety of Monsters Inc. and My Baby Smitty theory occur. In short, they set up a fake bedroom to trick the monsters, send through the robots, and send in Boo, who, as you may remember from my videos, could also be a robot. And then their creature slips through the vacation portal during the night of chaos and begins destroying their population one by one. And I shit you not, for as ridiculous as this sounds, all of the BNL robots have this exact mission programmed in their code. When the Buzz Lightyear toy of all things is broken, we see him drunkenly babble about Baby Smitty's teacher.
You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
This is beyond anything I've ever... It's so insane, but so seamless. Story of my life. And BNL would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for one person, one mastermind, keeping the full force of the apocalypse at bay, the one who foiled BNL at the height of their plans, Roz. The monster world is a very large place, but it's shown to be entirely run by one woman, Roz the Snail. She's the leader of the Child Detection Agency. She's the leader of all the power company regulation boards in the spin-off show. She runs everything. She's in control of everything, and she sees everything. She's unflappable. I even have the sneaking suspicion that she's in charge of all the major universities in the monster world too, hiding behind other figures from the shadows, just watching. There even seems to be a pattern with other old lady monsters working with her. I've always assumed that the Dean of Monsters University was under her thumb. Same with the librarian, Mrs. Flynn, and maybe Mike's mom. They're all related to her. My point is that Roz has spies everywhere, even close to the main characters. Look at how Squishy's mom stalls them with gum, blares thrash metal, and interrupts with laundry. She's always watching too. From everything we've seen, Roz knows about BNL trying to access her world, and she's been going around single-handedly sealing all of the little cracks they create. It's her. Roz first discovered BNL when Mike and Sully caught the attention of human police officers during their university days. Mike did something impossible. He powered their portal from the human side. This is dangerous. If BNL discovered such a thing were possible, they'd just kidnap people from all across America and strap them in torture chambers until their screams ripped open the dimensions. And it's possible they already have. We don't know the full extent to which BNL has infiltrated smaller parts of Monstropolis through the Bermuda Triangle, but Roz clearly does because she's been stopping all these plans. Here's an example. As you know, there are 2 identical sound bites in Monsters, Inc. played once during Roz's door slam, and once when Mike is bit by Baby Smitty. This is a main point of my Baby Smitty theory. It's my theory that it's not a scream exactly, but a scream extraction sort of. However, there's one other time in any Pixar film when we hear Mike's same exact scream again. It's in Monsters University. It's when this random pig thing yoinks him out from the bed as Sully's trying to catch it. This pig, as Sully said, was Feartech's mascot that he kidnapped. That's the rival university. They're the ones who created Fearco, the power company Monsters Inc. competes against. In the spin-off show, Randall's scream extractor machine is being used with Fearco's devices. What I'm saying is that this pig is scream extracting, kind of like Baby Smitty, but it comes from Fearco, which means that company is connected to BNL, which explains why they have amazing technology and why Roz steps in during the spin-off show to destroy them. So who the hell is this woman? How is she managing all this? This woman is an absolute godsend for the monsters. What she's been doing in the shadows is amazing, always watching, like some sort of dark knight. Because the most likely truth is that she's not a monster. She's an alien. This would make so much sense. She's the alien. She's the one keeping an eye on the mutated monsters. She's not one of them. She's above them. And the reason she has all this power is because she and the aliens are fully aware of what BNL's trying to do, and they actually do feel a bit threatened. Roz knows BNL's plan for the animals. She's been poking her finger everywhere in both worlds for a while, preparing everyone for the worst. When you look at all the animals in Pixar and all the monsters in this series, you'll start to notice an extremely weird trend. They're all preparing for something huge, and they don't even seem to fully know what they're preparing for. The sheer number of cult initiation ceremonies in Pixar movies is baffling. In Finding Nemo, the tank gang forces Nemo to pledge himself and re-identify shark bait, in other words, Smitty food. In Monsters University, the fraternity brings Mike and Sully down into their basement for a ritualistic initiation ceremony that they don't even seem to fully get the point of, watched over by who do you think? And in the spin-off show, they do it again, when they bring the protagonist into the maintenance crew. Thanks to Roz, the animals and monsters are both preparing, because they know what BNL wants to do with them. Even some of the humans are planning. The chefs in Ratatouille are aware of what BNL is doing to the food industry.
We are artists, pirates, more than cooks, are we?
And they talk openly about resisting.
LaRousse ran gun for the resistance.
Which resistance?
He won't say. Apparently they didn't win.
They fear Remy. And don't even get me started on this guy again.
Worst has done time.
I defrauded a major corporation. I robbed the second largest bank in France using only a ballpoint pen. I created a hole in the ozone of Avignon. I killed a man with this thumb.
But I don't think it's any coincidence that Remy's family saves him using statues of monsters, and it's all because of Roz. Beautiful, succulent, intellectual Roz. The Monstropolis is saved. They praise Marlin where it all goes down, and in all likelihood baby Smitty will be savagely destroyed later in the spin-off, which finally really brings me to this spin-off show, because I finally sat down and watched all of it. For those who haven't seen it, Monsters at Work is the official Monsters Inc. TV show. It's very much like The Office. Season 1 especially is a parody of The Office. It introduces a bunch of new characters on the Monsters Inc. maintenance team, and we get to see exactly what happened in the time between Mr. Waternoose's arrest and that final scene when they've set up Laugh Power. It's not a prequel, not a sequel, an in-between-quel. Season 2, however, is one of the most intriguing animated TV shows I've ever seen, and serves as an amazing sequel to not just Monsters Inc., but Monsters University and Season 1, giving one of the most satisfying storylines I have ever seen from Disney. It's Pixar's main recurring TV show, and I'm about to spoil it, because it confirms everything, and this is the only way to do it. And I think the writers know about some of these patterns, and they're making the show about it. The main character is a scare student from Monsters University who just gets to Monsters Inc. when they switch to Laugh Power, and he has to cope with this. He tries, but increasingly fails during Season 2, at which point he's recruited by the competing company run by Mike's old college bully. The big twist? They're working with Randall the whole time, who they rescued from Florida. This entire show, every last detail, every last fiber of its being, agrees with what I'm saying. More giraffes, another bring your kids to work day, openly saying that their food is poisonous to humans, French restaurants? I'll check. And the amount of time the monsters now spend in these kids' rooms is shocking. The kids have full-blown relationships with the monsters. The robots involved in this series repeatedly try killing the monsters. Celia was replaced by a different voice actress, and the characters openly joke about cloning themselves. They reveal that the prequel's villain, Johnny Worthington, married the goth chick, but their son looks like Baby Smitty. And yes, Roz is a major focal point. The entire Baby Smitty plot is going to be confirmed in one place, and that place is going to be Monsters at Work. And the final reveal is going to be that Roz is not a monster at all, but an alien. Confirmed. Cult leader, savior, death of BNL, alien. This battle between aliens and BNL was the war, the Cold War. And Roz won with minimal bloodshed. Roz, grandmother to the original Smitty himself. How poetic. How does BNL respond to this failure? How do they proceed after being screwed this hard by the aliens? What happens next? It's around 2010. BNL moves swiftly after learning the truth and getting the full picture. Save the monsters for later. It's time to finish off humanity with a bit more force. They use all of the tools at their disposal to finish taking over humanity and giving souls to robots. This is their goal, their mission, so they can control the world and then reach out to space later. These machines, like Boo, like Mirage, are nearly indistinguishable from normal humans. If Pixar's taking over with robots, we wouldn't even be able to tell if someone was robotic unless we saw inside their... Oh! What? Wait! Wait! Oh my god! It is! Holy shit, it is! It's real! This isn't a brain! This is literally not a brain! Those aren't brain folds. They're circuits. It's a machine with wires and pulleys, with buttons and controllers. This whole thing is a machine! How can this be so obvious but so shocking? My jaw is on the floor. Riley is a robot. We see it right here. This is why she looks nothing like her parents, just handed to them. This explains everything about the timeline, the families, the plot holes. When did they start doing this? How long has BNL been testing this? How many people are robots? When did they start replacing her parents? How did they do this? Look at this thing. Does that look like a human to you? Linguini! He can be controlled like a freaking mech suit, but he's even older than her.
And I know how to appear human.
They're robots. It's the only thing that snaps this whole thing together. This is wild. Why has nobody ever noticed this? Like ever. I'm shocked. It's right here. But how can this be possible? We have a whole family tree. This is like my original theory, remember? I have a whole family, all the Pixar connection. It's almost like that entire tree I built. All those characters, all those movies, those stories were a part of some sick, twisted experiment in Triple County. The whole thing, a robot experiment? Could it be possible? BNL's vision for Earth being tested around their headquarters? This would explain why Woody would be possessed by Andy's dead dad, as I theorized in the past. You can't kill something that isn't real. Is Andy? And if you blend all this together, the conclusion practically slapped me in the face. That mysterious woman, Emma Jean, that I always ranted about at the center of the family tree, fits perfectly as the possessor of Cow Girl, Jessie. As the years went on, my dear viewers, BNL won. They did it. They replaced us. There is no war. They don't care about being meticulous anymore. They don't care about energy or monsters. Leave it for later. They just swept over the world with an iron grip of robots. It was never a fight to be won. And just look at what they did to the world. Look at Wall-E, this meek robot who inherited the Earth. They infiltrated the world step by step, replacing tech CEOs and government agents so they could eventually pollute the atmosphere. And the robots, the machines, were eventually the only ones who could live or breathe here. The entire BNL corporate world that we see in Cars is our world. But the missing truth that's been staring us in the face is that the Cars are humans. The majority of humans that didn't go to space. They chose to become robots over their own bodies. They were convinced by BNL to become machines willingly so they could live forever in a beautiful world that BNL controlled. That's what Cars is. But at what cost? It couldn't last. They're alive.
I can still hear her little voice.
How many kids you got in there?
They're still in there! Is this what they wanted? I knew BNL was vengeful, but they planned all of the claw. The machines have given the forbidden fruit to humanity and damned them for eternity in their own prisons. A non-stop corporate commercialization of the planet, with humans transplanted into the entire population of Cars so they could be easily controlled. And our souls weren't fulfilling their natural purpose, and so we withered away, still alive, crushed into scrap metal. Wall-E has been sorting through millions of sentient, paralyzed hunks of metal, containing the lives of billions of humans and Cars. It's the inferno Toy Story 3 was teasing, only to bring a spare few to the stars. So in Wall-E, this truly most profound movie, the epilogue of Pixar, we see the few humans in space seize their culture back for a brighter future. But BNL's expansion has moved on from this petty planet. There's nothing left to conquer, except everything else. The reason they ascended to space in the first place. They're ready for the aliens. And it's at this point that shit gets real. Far out there, in space, BNL has made a discovery unlike anything they could have imagined. In the Baby Smitty theory, I mentioned that Pixar's new Lightyear movie was going to feature reality-breaking metas in outer space. It did. It features a hyper-speed wormhole, time travel, and takes place within a pocket universe of Toy Story. BNL sent the, quote, real Buzz Lightyear into space to find what they were looking for. They gave him an emotional, robotic cat and an AI pilot identical to the one from WALL-E, and he found it. At this point in the timeline, the mission they sent him on comes to fruition, and they arrive at their destination. See, there's no way for them to win against these aliens. The aliens we're talking about here aren't just the ones from Elio. We're talking about the highest tier god entities that control everything, all the worlds, the universe. Any attempts to target them openly will end in disaster. BNL needs to sort of infiltrate the entire, I guess, structure of the universe where the aliens are hiding. And what I'm about to say will redefine Pixar forever. Entering the hyperspace from Lightyear, BNL penetrates the fabric of reality and arrives on a higher plane of existence, entwining with the Pixar universe and becoming Disney itself. This reflects what I prophesized years ago and reflects what we see in Pixar's reality. We see that since the beginning, they've had robotic things in positions of authority behind everything.
I am the coming together of all quantized fields of the universe, appearing in a form your feeble human brain can comprehend.
The universe outside of time is, and always was, BNL. They become everything. From all of history, at the Big Bang they appear. That's how it works. And now, they are represented one way, and one way only. Those 10-dimensional wavelengths from Soul, the system itself. They become it all at the beginning of time. There is no changing this past. What happened here always happened that way. BNL now fulfills what is called a bootstrap paradox. The cycle starts anew, and now it makes sense. They were the ones who diverted the asteroid in the first place. BNL isn't just some robot organization from the Supers program. Once it goes through this, it becomes so much more. Across all of the universe's history, it was destiny. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that created itself in a time loop because of this wormhole to the higher reality where they became Disney and ensured all of their films got made. So, everything that BNL had seen as an obstacle before, all of the unusual things, were actually just carefully controlled events by their future selves to bring them closer to this point. There were two BNLs at the same time, the company doing this whole plot and the Pixar universe itself that they later became by traveling to the Big Bang wormhole. Lightyear is very profound about this. Plot holes, continuity errors. It's just the bigger BNL pushing everything towards this wormhole, towards the destiny they become, towards the stars.
Reach for the sky.
Take her to the moon for me.
To infinity and beyond and beyond and beyond.
It's manipulation on a universal scale. Again, as I said, the source code of Pixar. Impossible characters scattered across films, victims lost to time, sent by a greater calling. And all of this reveals one last horror. The only reason little BNL's plan failed is because big BNL's plan didn't. See, as of the end of WALL-E, BNL's original mainframe has long since gone through the portal back in time, and now there's only one left, the main one that's been waiting, watching since the beginning of time that it took the portal to. So the timeline continues exactly as planned as BNL begins their final mission to destroy the aliens that they now share footing with. BNL now owns everything. They run everything. They control everything. They created themselves. They own the souls. They own Pixar. They are the universe. Just as the films openly imply, the only thing left is to go where the aliens went, beyond the universe. All of the complicated stuff I just did is simply the technical way of describing exactly what Pixar's created here. The implications of the meta, the logic of Pixar, films and Easter eggs scattered amidst themselves, which brings us back to where we started, with some notable changes that now allow us to map it out. My original understanding was that all Pixar movies took place within worlds where all their other films were like movies that characters had seen. Lightyear then confirmed it. It ends up mapping out like some sort of very messy, infinite self-containing nest of movies within movies that they're trying to escape. But today's proven that there are whole characters and plot lines that overlap between films. So the Easter eggs are obviously film merchandise, yes, but it's taken me ages to realize that the films also take place within their own worlds. It's all one. BNL is going around retelling real stories from their own world and releasing them as fictional films. They're trying to break reality over and over again, blend everything together, surpass their timelines, surpass the meta, and reach the top of the stack. Their motivation for trying to control all these characters is because it's their film protagonists. It's the paradox eating its own tail. They focused on Nemo and tried killing him and sabotaging the plot because they knew his dad's story led to Animal Uprising.
I'm Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, hi, Sigourney! I need your help!
They hired the actual Sigourney Weaver to voice herself as a narrator in the Marine Life Institute.
I feel like I saved Pixar, and you're welcome, Pixar.
What the f***? Bon Voyage is both real and an actor simultaneously. They're obsessed with the Tri-County area because the films take place there. The entire family tree is at the center of the experiment. It's their reason for doing this, their attempt to break reality, because it's the only way to escape and find the aliens. The subtle, interwoven story of By and Large is that Disney is a conglomerate that transcends fiction. Pixar movies make us cry, investing our emotion, our imaginations, our souls. This is the plot Pixar has written, perhaps unintentionally, forever rising through the layers, ever expanding as only an AI can do, because there were no aliens, only higher and higher BNLs. This is the source code of Pixar, and it's why their most common Easter egg is none other than the address of their animation class. Where does this end? They already released the end of the story, and nothing in the history of my channel has ever been proven harder. To re-emphasize, this is all the fictional story Pixar's telling through their films subconsciously. It's not like I'm saying this is a real-life thing, of course. BNL's a story. And it's only half intended. It's simply a product of what Pixar sees in the real world. But their new films are aware of this insofar as the theories are. It's their motif, their source code. It's how they write. And they don't even really realize it. This isn't like other Pixar theories, because each new film actually doubles down on this twice as hard, as opposed to messing it up. I hearken back to Elio, Hopper's Lightyear. All their new films are non-stop feeding these particular theories. Non-stop, the same shit, the same plot, it's identical beat for beat. This theory hasn't even detailed my 30 other videos of non-stop proof, let alone almost anything from Pixar's most recent films, because you can watch them, and it's basically obvious. I'm convinced Monsters at Work Season 3 will be the nail in the coffin. If not, then I will be.